Patriots fans, this week felt like one of those emotional rides where your pulse races from start to finish and you barely have time to breathe before something else happens. The team walked out of Cincinnati with a 26-20 win, but the vibe was far from celebratory. It was the kind of afternoon where every snap carried weight, every drive felt like a battle, and every moment left you wondering how much more the team could endure. And right in the middle of all that chaos, Drake May once again showed why so many people believe he is becoming the face of this franchise for years to come. From the very beginning, you could sense he was not going to have an easy day. The Bengals came at him with pressure from every direction, squeezing the pocket, knocking him off rhythm, and making him fight for every single yard. Even so, he stood tall, delivered throw after throw, and kept the offense moving. When you look at the final numbers, 22 completions on 35 attempts, 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception. It might not sound like a fireworks show, but the story behind those stats tells something completely different. He threw for 294 yards, the highest mark of his young career, and every one of those yards felt earned. The wild part is that he had a real chance to break the 300-yard barrier. With 2 minutes left on the clock and facing a 3rd and 7, all he needed was a simple conversion. If that play connects, we are talking about another milestone, another headline, another chapter in a season that is turning into something special. But even without hitting 300, the impact of his performance was undeniable. With that game, he moved into the top spot for passing yards across the entire league, jumping ahead of players like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Think about that for a second. In only his second year, in a season that began with more questions than answers, he is leading a category usually dominated by long-established veterans. What makes it even more impressive is how consistent he has been. Remember that season opener in Las Vegas? Even in the 20-13 loss, he had already shown something different. Those 287 passing yards were not just numbers. They were a sign that the kid had something real, something that could be shaped into greatness if the team stayed patient and surrounded him with the right structure. Fast forward 2 months, and look where he is now. Week 12, and he is carrying the offense with a poise that seems far beyond his age. But here is where the tough part of the story comes in. While May was doing his job, delivering the ball all over the field, the players protecting him started going down one by one. First came the moment nobody wanted to see. Will Campbell lying on the ground, his right leg twisted underneath him after a run. The entire sideline felt the shift instantly. Teammates surrounded him. The stadium fell silent, and you could tell right away it was not a minor issue he would simply shake off. When the cart arrived and he covered his head with a towel, you could feel the weight of it, not only for him, but for the entire offense. Campbell had been a rock since the start of the season. The 4th overall pick, the player trusted to protect the quarterback's blind side, the rookie who had already shown more toughness and leadership than many seasoned veterans. Losing him hit differently. You could see it in the reactions of the players, especially Drake May. Even before he spoke to the media, it was clear how much the situation affected him. And when he finally did speak, the emotion was right there. He talked about how much those guys mean to him, and it sounded raw and honest. The connection between a quarterback and the lineman guarding him is not surface level. It is built through every snap, every film session, every hit absorbed so the play can continue. And as if that were not enough, earlier in the game another rookie had already gone down. Jared Wilson, the left guard who had quietly become one of the most dependable pieces of the offensive line, twisted his right ankle on a 3rd and 1 run. He tried to stay on his feet, but the pain was unmistakable. Minutes later, he was being carted off as well. And just like that, the entire left side of the protection collapsed. Wilson had started 11 of the team's first 12 games, and together with Campbell formed a rare rookie duo anchoring the left side. In a league where young linemen often struggle, those two had been impressively steady. Losing both in the same game was a massive blow. With the substitutes rushing in, the rhythm of the offense changed immediately. Ben Brown stepped in at guard. Vidarian Lowe filled in at tackle. And suddenly every snap felt like a test of survival. Yet somehow, May kept pushing through it. The running game slowed down. The pocket became unstable, but he found ways to keep the chains moving. It was not pretty, but it was gritty, and sometimes that is exactly what separates ordinary quarterbacks from special ones. Through all of this, the emotional impact spread throughout the locker room. Veteran center Garrett Bradbury, who has seen almost everything the league can throw at a player, called it the worst part of football. Stephon Diggs, who has battled his own injuries in the past, offered words of encouragement that carried weight with everyone. The tone was somber, yet united. That is what adversity does. It either fractures a team or pulls it together. And judging by the way this group responded, they are choosing the latter. The reality is tough. The Patriots had started the same offensive line in 10 of their first 11 games. Stability was one of the biggest reasons the offense had been able to progress at a steady pace. Losing that stability in a single afternoon changes the entire landscape. And it was not just the offensive line. Brendan Schooler left the game, Khyiris Tonga exited as well, and suddenly the injury list felt like it was growing faster than anyone could handle. Mike Vrabel spoke about how injuries are an unavoidable part of the league, but made it clear the focus now shifts to recovery, adjustments, and preparation for the next challenge. As the team waits for Campbell's full evaluations, early reports point to a sprained medial collateral ligament, an injury that already makes him a strong candidate for the injured list with hopes of returning only in time for the playoffs. Imagining the rest of the season without him is difficult, not only because of the protection he provides, but because of the emotional presence he brings to the group. In just a few weeks, he had become a foundational piece, someone teammates respected and trusted deeply. And even with everything collapsing around him, with the atmosphere heavy and the fan base anxious, Drake Maye walked out of Cincinnati stronger than he entered. More experienced, more confident, more respected across the league. And maybe most importantly, he showed that even when things get ugly, he can still guide this team. There is something happening with this kid, something special, something that goes far beyond the stats. It is that feeling that even when everything points in the wrong direction, he finds a way. Picking up right where we left off, the story coming out of Cincinnati does not quiet down after the final whistle. If anything, it gets heavier, more complex, and more revealing about where this team truly stands. Because when you peel back the layers of that 26-20 win, what you find is a roster pushed to its limit, a coaching staff scrambling to adjust on the fly, and a young quarterback growing up faster than anyone expected. And the crazy part is that all of this is happening while the season is still very much on the line, with the Patriots sitting at 10 wins and 2 losses and chasing something a lot bigger than regular season momentum. The moment the team boarded the plane back to Foxborough, the questions began piling up. How long will Campbell be out? What are the chances Jared Wilson returns before January? Who steps up now that the most stable part of the roster has been shaken to its core? And the biggest one of all, can Drake Maye keep this offense afloat when the very foundation in front of him is cracked and shifting? These are not small questions. These are franchise-defining ones. Because when you lose not one, but 2 rookies who had quickly become critical pillars of the system, the ripple effect hits every corner of the playbook. Inside the building, the tone shifted the moment the injury news rolled in. Campbell's medial collateral ligament sprain, something that often sidelines players for weeks, instantly forced the staff to rethink everything. You could practically feel the weight of it in the way players spoke, in the way coaches responded when asked about contingency plans. Wilson's ankle situation didn't help, especially since he had been one of the most consistent and technically sound linemen the team had. Imagine being a rookie thrown into the toughest league in the world and holding your own week after week, only to watch your season flipped upside down in a single play. It hits hard. It hits emotionally, and the locker room felt that. Even so, there is something fascinating about how this team handles adversity. It is not flashy. It is not loud. It is not filled with dramatic speeches or big declarations. Instead, it is quiet and steady, the kind of resilience that builds over months of training camp practices, long film sessions, and those moments most people never see, like a quarterback staying late to review protections with his linemen or a veteran pulling a rookie aside after a rough rep. That culture is what kept the Patriot from falling apart when the injuries started stacking up. If you listen closely to the players after the game, You could sense it in the way they talked about each other. There was disappointment, yes, but also a sense of unity, almost a defiant belief that they would figure it out no matter what pieces were left on the board. And right in the middle of it is Drake, MAYE, who suddenly feels less like the new kid and more like the guy everyone is turning to. It is easy to forget how young he still is when he stands in front of the cameras with the composure of someone who has been through a decade of NFL battles. But it goes deeper than public composure. His teammates talk about how he carries himself during the hard moments, the frustration after a blown protection, the disappointment of a dropped pass, the uncertainty that comes with having backups shift into major roles. He is not raising his voice. He is not pointing fingers. He is leaning in, reinforcing confidence, reminding the guys that every play is a chance to reset. That kind of calm under pressure cannot be coached. It is natural, and it is rare. Still, the path ahead is anything but simple. The schedule is about to hit another difficult stretch, and the margin for error shrinks with every injury update. The coaching staff now has the daunting task of reworking protection schemes, helping new linemen adapt to their roles, and ensuring the offense stays functional. This is where the details matter. Hand placement, footwork timing, blitz recognition, communication at the line. Things that were automatic with Campbell and Wilson in place now have to be rebuilt with players who may have had only a handful of practice reps at those positions. The responsibility does not fall solely on the replacements. The entire offense must adjust. For Drake MAYE, it means speeding up his internal clock. It means mastering the art of sliding protections based on pre-snap reads. It means trusting receivers to win faster on their routes. And it means knowing when to take the smart throwaway rather than trying to force superhero moments. These are lessons young quarterbacks often learn the hard way. But for MAYE, every test he faces seems to accelerate his development. The coaches see it. The players see it. Even opponents admit it. You do not lead the league in passing yards by accident. You do it through anticipation, vision, discipline, and the willingness to take hits while delivering the ball downfield. But as talented as he is, this cannot turn into a situation where everything falls on him. The defense will need to tighten up, especially with key players still dealing with lingering issues. The run game, which has been inconsistent at times, will need to find new ways to stay productive. And the receivers, who have had their share of highs and lows, will need to elevate their game when the pocket collapses or play structure breaks down. This is when great teams rise. When everyone in the building understands that the season does not slow down just because the roster takes a hit. And there is something else happening behind the scenes, something that does not always make the highlight reels or press conferences, the bond forming within this young core. Players like Campbell and Wilson may be sidelined, but they're not disappearing. They are still in meetings, still studying tape, still supporting the group, still giving pointers to the guys replacing them. That presence matters. It keeps morale from dropping. It keeps pressure dispersed evenly across the team rather than piling up on the starters. As Mike Vrabel said, injuries are inevitable. Every team in the league deals with them. But recovery is both physical and emotional, and this group is determined to handle both sides. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing after a shocking ultimatum reportedly dropped by quarterback Drake MAYE. Sources close to the matter claim that MAYE has made it clear, if he lands with the New England Patriots, he will not hesitate to walk away from the team. While the details remain murky, insiders suggest that the young quarterback's message has sent ripples through both locker rooms and front offices. For years, the Patriots have been synonymous with stability and tradition, but MAYE's alleged declaration threatens to shake that image. The mere idea that a top-tier talent might outright reject one of the league's most storied franchises has left analysts scrambling to interpret the implications. Could this be a negotiation tactic, or is it a genuine refusal to play under the Patriot banner? Either way, it has ignited a firestorm of speculation among fans and pundits alike. What's fueling the rumor is not just May's potential arrival in New England, but his insistence that his career trajectory won't be dictated by conventional paths. Sources hint that May is focused on finding a team where he feels he can flourish without unnecessary interference, a stance that some describe as bold, others as risky. For a franchise accustomed to controlling every aspect of its quarterback situation, this could mark a cultural clash of epic proportions. The Patriots organization has yet to respond publicly, leaving the media to piece together fragments of what insiders are calling an unprecedented standoff. Social media has erupted, with debates over whether New England will risk alienating a rising star, or if May is positioning himself as the most sought-after quarterback of the next draft cycle. Some believe this could force the Patriots to explore alternative options, while others speculate that May's stance may ultimately shift once formal negotiations begin. One thing is certain. The rumor alone has reignited conversations about power dynamics in the NFL. Veteran players and analysts alike are weighing in on whether an ultimatum of this nature could become a trend, giving young quarterbacks leverage in ways never seen before. As whispers grow louder and speculation intensifies, the league waits with bated breath to see if this story remains rumor or turns into headline-making reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.